For thousands of years, the ocean was the ultimate mystery to mankind, a place of monsters and magic, where ancient sailors believed that stepping off a boat meant entering a kingdom of certain death, because for us, water is a suffocating trap. But long before we invented scuba gear or submarines, great thinkers like Aristotle stood by the shore and scratched their heads in absolute confusion, wondering how a creature could live its entire life without ever taking a single breath of air. And for centuries, this was considered a divine secret, a puzzle that suggested fish were spirits rather than animals, because they survived where no human ever could. This secret baffled scientists until we finally unlocked the mystery of the gill, which is not just a body part, but a biological masterpiece that acts like the most advanced filter in the universe, far superior to any machine humans have ever built. To understand this thrilling mechanism, you have to realize that water is not just empty liquid, but it is actually packed full of invisible oxygen, dissolved just like sugar vanishes into hot tea so you can't see it, but it is there waiting to be taken. And while our human lungs are clumsy bags that can only grab oxygen from thin air, a fish possesses a superpower hidden behind those little flaps on the side of its head called gills, which look like stacks of feathery red car radiators. The process is incredibly fast and violent, starting when a fish opens its mouth to take a massive gulp of water, forcing that water backward over the filaments of the gills, which are bright red because they are filled with thousands of tiny blood vessels running right to the surface of the skin. As the water rushes over these feathers, a magical trade happens in a split second called diffusion, where the oxygen trapped in the water feels the pull of the oxygen-hungry blood and instantly jumps across the thin skin into the fish's body, while at the exact same moment, the dangerous carbon dioxide waste inside the fish jumps out into the water to be washed away, allowing the fish to stay fresh and powerful. This system is so efficient that some fish can pull nearly all the oxygen out of the water instantly, but the stakes are incredibly high because breathing underwater takes a lot of energy, much more than we use sitting on a couch, which is why you see the flaps on a goldfish moving so frantically. The most terrifying example of this breathless race for survival is the shark, specifically the great white, which often relies on a method called ram ventilation, meaning it has to swim forward constantly with its mouth open to force water over its gills like a jet engine intake. And if it ever stops swimming, the oxygen supply cuts off and the shark will actually drown and die, sinking to the bottom of the deep blue sea. However, nature loves to break its own rules, and the story gets even stranger when you look at the muddy swamps of history where we find the rebels of the underwater world, like the lungfish or the betta fish you have in a bowl at home, because these creatures have evolved a special labyrinth organ that allows them to swim to the surface and gulp actual air, just like a human when the water gets too dirty or low on oxygen, proving that life will always find a way to survive. It is truly mind-blowing to realize that right now, millions of tons of water are rushing through the throats of trillions of creatures, fueling the sharks, the whales, and the tiny guppies in a silent, invisible chemical reaction that keeps the entire ocean alive, a technology of nature that has been perfect for millions of years before humans even learned how to make fire.